participants, panelists, and a warm welcome to all of you to this first of its kind webinar that is organized by DITP Thailand at a very critical juncture that we are today in, the COVID-19. And while the world over gem and jewelry trade is transpiring into and discussing the way ahead, we have initiated this webinar series with various subjects that will help tide over this crisis to the gem and jewelry industry. I'm very happy to introduce our panelists today and also welcome you to this webinar series, the relationship between Thailand and the Middle Eastern region. Before introducing you to our esteemed panelists, I would request our technical team to run a video of DITP before we start the session. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Anand, and thank you so much for the participants once again. A special mention to Miss Nikki, who's with us today and who's been really instrumental in putting the Bangkok show together all these years. A warm welcome to you, Nikki from Asia Live. Let me start with Mr. Panot Punyahotra. Mr. Panot Punyahotra, one of our esteemed panelists, is the director, the Thai Trade Center, Dubai. Apart from other sectors, Mr. Punyahotra works immensely towards strengthening and building the gem and jewelry trade between the Middle Eastern region and Thailand. His initiative to support the trade by organizing various educational and informative events speaks volumes of his endeavor to strengthen the relationship between the two economies. We welcome you to the webinar organized by DITP Thailand, sir, and hope your insights would help the trade members of both the economies who are our participants today. They should go a long way after hearing the excerpt comments from this webinar into building fruitful relationships. Mr. Panot Punyahotra, welcome, sir.
Thank you, Subbuji. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much, sir. Our next speaker, Mr. Anurag Sinha, is the director of Jewellery Jewellery Group based in Dubai. His penchant for identifying the intricacies in every jewellery piece and going in for the best of quality and designs has made him take Jewellery Jewellery Group to the helm of gem and jewelry business today. A known face in the jewelry sector, Mr. Anurag Sinha has indeed reached the pinnacle of successfully managing his brand and developing international businesses. A warm welcome to you to this webinar, sir, and we do hope your words with experience will go a long way in strengthening the trade between Thailand and the Middle Eastern region. Welcome again, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Maha Al-Sibai, our next speaker, does not really need any introduction. It is indeed an honor and pleasure to welcome Ms. Maha Al-Sibai to this important webinar organized by DITP Thailand. As an established jewelry designer, Ms. Maha has been a successful manufacturer, retailer, and has been one of the first jewelry designers to have initiated her line of business in Paris. A known face in the jewelry design fraternity, she has led various international design awards and competitions by becoming a mentor, advisor, a panelist, and a jury member. The latest being the HRD Jewelry Awards 2020. A warm welcome to you, Ms. Mahal Sibai, again to our webinar series, and thank you so much for taking time out.
Thank you so much for the intro. Thanks, Mr. Shibu, and best regards to everyone here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Mr. Mehran Mahalati, our next speaker, really also does not need any introduction because he's very well known not only in Thailand but also in the Middle Eastern region. Mr. Mehran Mahalati is the director of Mahalati Jewellery LLC and is himself a design connoisseur and a jewelry expert. His jewelry designs speak volumes of the intricacy and talent that goes behind creating every jewelry piece. Mahalati Jewellery Group's relation with Thailand dates back with setting up of state-of-the-art jewelry manufacturing facility in Thailand and the exquisite jewelry range that is manufactured there. Mahalati's prowess in terms of manufacturing and retailing is no secret as the group has expanded and grown to create a niche for itself and become one of the biggest in the region. Dear sir, it is indeed a pleasure for us to hear your words of wisdom that we are sure will go a long way in furthering the relationship between the two regions. Thank you and a warm welcome once again, Mr. Mahalati.
Thank you very much, Subbu, for the introduction, and good afternoon, everybody.
Thank you so much, sir. Our moderator today is again a very well-known face in the region, Mr. Chandu Siroya. He is the Managing Director, Siroya Jewels LLC, and Vice Chairman of Dubai Golden Jewelry Group. While he comes from a successful jewelry group that has over decades enchanted the trade as well as consumers with breathtaking jewelry, he is also a keen industry observer and a strategist. Mr. Siroya has been part of many an initiative when it comes to supporting and helping the development of the gem and jewelry trade in Dubai and UAE. Mr. Siroya has been a convener and a speaker in important forums representing the trade, and it is indeed our pleasure to welcome him as our moderator today. We do hope to have fun-filled, informative and educative session today, sir. Thank you once again for joining us. The webinar is all yours, Mr. Siroya.
Namaskar, Sawadee and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Very warm welcome to all my panelists and to the global viewers of our webinar today, people from Thailand and the Middle East and around the world who have joined us and have spared some time to listen to us. So I'm sure all my panelists will give them some information which will be good take home for doing business between UAE and or the Middle East rather and Thailand. We are going to try and see how we can strengthen the relationship and the business bond between these two countries. So thank you very much for joining us today. And I would like to start now. My first question would be to the government, and the government is right now represented by Mr. Panot here. So Mr. Panot, good afternoon. Sir, I would like to understand, please, can you give your outlook on the current relationship between UAE and Thailand, and your views on some of the things that will help us grow further and in strengthening this relationship. So what is the current business scenario right now, and how do you think we can take it forward for a better relationship?
Thank you so much for a very good question, Mr. Siroya. The relationship between our two countries come in many layers. We start with the government one. I have to mention that this year is a 45th anniversary between Thailand and UAE. We have the diplomatic relationship starting in 1975. The same year, we re-established our relationship with China. So in terms of the government, is very, very good, I would say, and also very healthy.
Mm-hmm.
During this time, during COVID, we got a lot of support from the UAE government. To name just a few, UAE government sent the medical equipment to Thailand, helped us to fight with COVID-19. And also, they support our Thai nationality here for repatriation flight, free of charge to Thailand, one flight. Some kind of activities, this kind of activities show the close relationship between our two governments. In terms of the people, my Emirati say that you are not Emirati if you haven't been to Thailand, and something like that. And I have to say that it's true enough, because Emirati is the number one tourist from the Middle East to Thailand, almost 200,000 a year. And they know Thailand. Some of my Emirati friends, he know Bangkok better than I do. And it suggests me a very good restaurant, something like that. In terms of trade, UAE is the number one trading partner of Thailand in the whole MENA. And we import energy from UAE. UAE is the first, the most important supplier of energy to Thailand. And for the industry we are touching today, for the jewelry, 43% of our jewelry export to MENA came to UAE. So it's very big market for us. And all of you, I think all of you know that jewelry is very important industry to Thailand. Yes. So in this sense, in terms of trade, in terms of people, and in terms of government, we are very close. And I would say comfortably that UAE is the most important country for us, for my office. That's why my office is here in Dubai.
Wow, thank you so much for that information. I think it's very heartening to know that our relationship started almost a few decades ago, and same time with China. And right now we are your number one trading partner in the MENA region. So that is fantastic. So this now brings me to one person who has traveled to Thailand specifically for our jewelry industry many times. And Mr. Anurag Sinha is here with us. He's from Lele Jewellery. Mr. Sinha, you've been visiting Thailand and the Bangkok Gems and Jewelry Show for a number of years now. Can you please describe how the show has evolved, and also share your experiences on how critical is the Bangkok show for the Middle East jewelry buyers?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Hi. The question takes me back many years ago when we started in '99. And the first jewelry fair that I attended out of Dubai was in Thailand, Bangkok. That was my first fair after starting the jewelry business, which is September of 1999. And the May of 99, we started our business. And what we realized in the first instant was I could find designs and products which were not available in this market. And I would thought that would be my biggest strength to stand up and float against the competition that had always been very high in Dubai. Because there were many other companies and many other brands far more and bigger than us and huge and well-established way back from the 80s and early 90s. So to stand up to everybody, we said that differentiation is what will matter. And we found it in Thailand. And for a number of years, a majority supplies came from Thailand as compared to any other countries. On the back of Thai jewelry and the suppliers that we have worked with is where we have built our product differentiation benchmark over the years.
Wow, I think that is a very high regard you have for the Thai jewelry and for the Thai jewelry show. But can you just share your experience on how the first show was and how it is now? Has it increased manyfold? Because you see, coincidentally, my first international show was also Thailand. So I would like to understand in your perspective how the show has grown.
So the first show was Thailand, and then eventually after 2 or 3 years, we started combining Thailand and Hong Kong together. And as I went to Vicenza, I found Thai suppliers there and so on. The best part is it was not always about how big it became, but how good quality oriented it became.
Fantastic.
Because as a retailer, I'm a pure retailer. So for me, I need to look at products and kind of styles that will talk to my client base and yet differentiate me. And of course, price is always a subject, but price is something you can discuss and talk and come to an understanding. But if somebody doesn't have a design sense and a creative sense, there is no discussion on the price and the times of supplies. So what we realized over the years is the quality, the design element, the creative element that has come out from Thailand has absolutely been fantastic for us. And one of the reasons I see is, one of the reasons that I see is the ability to make the Thai business owners, and more than business owners, the creative team, understand the need is far more easier than many other countries because they work with a very open mindset.
So you mean to say it is very easy to make them understand and to get your things done?
Sorry, yeah, it's not just about the language. It's about how open-minded they are to understand.
Yeah, so they're ready to learn also when they're improving their things.
Very, very adaptable, I must say, which has helped us create product lines which were meant for the market, but yet differentiated from the rest. And that helped us a lot over a period of last 18, 20 years. Yes.
Fantastic. Brings me to Mr. Mehran. Mr. Mehran, you have a unique relationship. You have base in Thailand as well as in UAE. So can you tell us something more about your Thai connection? What exactly are you doing in Thailand?
Good afternoon, everybody. I have to be very honest with you, Mr. Chandu. I think Mr. Anurag actually answered all the questions that you just asked me.
Oh no, please.
more or less, to be very honest with you. I mean, us as Mahaladi Jewellery. I mean, we have been in Thailand since 78, 79, whereas the founder of the company, my father, he would travel back and forth. We had started working with Thailand in terms of manufacturing in the early 80s, around 82, 83. And then by 88 and 89, we had started to open up our own factory in Thailand, in Bangkok, that is. And the reason for us choosing Bangkok at the time, I mean, historically, you always have Belgium, which was known for the diamond and the bourse and everything that they had there. Japan was also very well known for the fact that they had pearls and they had pearl auctions, pearl farming, and so on, which left Thailand, especially Bangkok and Chanthaburi, to be a major worldwide hub and a major player in the precious and semi-precious stone market. So other than Thailand back then, I mean, as a manufacturing hub, you had Italy and you had a little bit of Turkey. By then also, India and China and Vietnam and all those countries didn't really come up yet. So one of the most stable governments and one of the most stable countries to be in terms of manufacturing was Thailand at that time. Mm-hmm. So just like what Mr. Anurag just said, so we also rode that wave that Anurag was just talking about. The Thai people, as a people themselves, it's ingrained in them from their childhood that intricacy is really important. And you don't only see it in jewelry manufacturing. They have very extensive woodwork here. They do a lot of wood carvings, a lot of, work with wood and so on and things like that. And that also reflected the same way onto jewelry. And we as a company, as a family, when we moved here, we rode that wave of growth that Thailand had at the time, which also kept us here. And like Mr. Anurag said, it wasn't about the language barrier or explaining something to them for them to understand or not, but it was when we showed them a design, they automatically clicked and they knew how to make it.
So they were basically inbuilt
you can say
creation.
That, but I mean, their focus on detail and their focus on craftsmanship, especially back then, everything was handmade. And the fact that the Thai people as a population did it, and they did it very well. And that's what kept us here in Bangkok.
Does it still continue the trend?
Does it still continue? That's a very good question, which I can bring up. And that is with the help of Mr. Panot and the DITP. We have been approached several times by adjacent governments. For example, the Chinese government, the Vietnamese government, offering us the same, offering us tax-free, places to work and whatnot, and this and that. But I feel that until today, we still manufacture a lot of pieces by hand. I mean, we specialize in big diamond jewelry sets and everything. I understand that a lot of small items, rings, it's much more cost effective and faster to produce, in newer methods. But a lot of our more important pieces, our unique pieces, are still made today by hand. And we owe all that to the Thai people.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you, Mehran. Brings me to a young designer, jewelry designer based in the Middle East, Miss Maha. Maha, I believe you have visited Thailand many times, but you have not been fortunate enough to visit the Bangkok jewelry show as yet. So can you please tell me, according to you, what are the factors that can help? You've been studying design, you've been designing yourself. So what are the factors that can help build the relationship between the jewelry designers? We heard very nice things from our two panelists regarding the handwork, and as Mr. Pandit always says, magic hands of Thailand. So you see, what do you think will be or can be done to build the relationship between the jewelry designers of Thailand and UAE? What in your opinion can be done so that these two designers can have a fantastic future?
Okay, Mr. Mehran, he points out a very important thing for us as designers. The ability of the person who's executing, who's doing the jewelry piece, just being aware of how to do it, whether by hand or by the new methods with CAD designing, and so it's very important. As you know, we do face this issue sometimes when we put our ideas on papers. Sometimes it can be translated into so many designs that they look alike, but not exactly. But when you deal with somebody who's really come from authentic family, who have been working in this for years and years, they would understand exactly how to do it in the best way, whether by hand or by any other high technology. What I think, since I've targeted during my journey of 20 years of designing jewelry, I've targeted most of the important jewelry fairs in the world, and I was in contact with manufacturers, designers, and traders. Let's say the late 10 years, Thailand was standing up, and the best jewelry, they come from Thailand, the best workmanship, the skills there is very important. And also the government in Thailand is making things easier for somebody like us who is living in the Middle East and having our own brands. Of course, the price is a target, so we like to have a range of price that is reasonable, so we can also transfer that to the client without raising so much. So if we want to do it here in Dubai, I will be transparent, it will be very very high to manufacture such pieces. So anyway, if we do it here, the workmanship, the skills we are getting from Thailand. So the best thing is we take the jewelry there and we have it done there. It's much easier and less cost. So again, I think that if you look at what is happening nowadays, most of even the big brands, they are moving towards Thailand, manufacturing in Thailand because of the same reasons. Again, the craftsmanship is more
better
over there, and the cost will be less because of the support of the government and the rules of the VAT and other economic.
So you would also consider and getting your jewelry manufactured in Thailand,
I was
or are you already doing
that was my plan for the 2020, but as you see, 2020 gave us different plans.
A shock. But it's good. It's good. Sometimes we we take a break to learn from our past mistakes, and then we can have a better future. Thank you very much for that. Yeah,
We cannot
you had
say it was a mistake. Actually, it's development of
the shortcomings in our methods, I would say, not
Yeah.
mistakes. Okay, we learn from the shortcomings in our methods of the older times. Yeah. Thank you very much. Mr. Panot, I'm sure you must be very, very happy listening to all these fine accolades, fantastic, good quality, creative element, best jewelry, workmanship, everything. I'm sure you must be very, very happy in listening to all these very generous and rightly so good comments from our panelists. Can I ask you, what is, please, can you explain to us what is the DITP's role to enlighten the Middle Eastern jewelers on the Thai gem and jewelry industry? And can you also tell us about some of the programs which have been organized for presenting the Thai magic hands concept?
Thank you, Mr. Siroya. Please allow me to thank all of you for a very good comment on Thailand. And I'm really appreciate it. And for the ITP, we are the trade promotion organization, 100% government, belong to Ministry of Commerce. And our main responsibility is to promote trade between Thailand and GCC. And in terms of our industry, the jewelry industry, we support our Thai companies to exhibit in literally every major games fair in the region. And we also, as you know, we organize Bangkok Games. Unfortunately, the 66th edition, which is supposed to be in September, we have to postpone until next February. But this September, we will do it the virtual trade fair. We plan to have at least 150 exhibitors with a 3D. You just go into the website and you see the product 3D. Wow. And I'm sure that one of the 150 must be Mahalat, who is always with us from the start. And I have to mention, I learned from many webinars organized by the new jeweler, the idea of the prominent figures in the industry that during the COVID, there's a lot of opportunity for silver jewelry. And you know that Thailand is the #1 exporter of supplier of silver jewelry to the world. 1/4 of the world market is from this Thai product. So I would like to, this will be the focus product that we will do for the time being, or at least for this. And I have to mention, I am sorry that I forgot to mention during the first question, the relationship between the ITP, the Jeweler Association in Thailand, and Dubai Gold and Jewelry Group. We have very close relationship, and it's my duty to foster and strengthen that relationship. Unfortunately, we plan to organize the mission, high-ranking mission from Dubai Gold and Jewelry Group to the fair in February, but because of the COVID, it needs to be postponed. I will make sure to make it happen, and we will work closely together with the group.
Thank you. Mr. Panot, you said something very interesting regarding the silver jewelry. You said Thailand is producing almost 50% of the world production, or a large portion of the world production. But do you believe that a lot of silver jewelry made in Thailand is available in Dubai or in the UAE or in the Middle East?
Not yet, Mr. Siroya. I have to admit that now for the silver jewelry, the biggest market in MENA is Turkey. But I think we have a lot of room for development here in Dubai. Mm-hmm. And
so
yes, sorry, sir.
Sorry, if there is anybody who is interested in acquiring of the silver jewelry from Thailand, would the government be helping them in some way?
Yes, of course.
Making it available in the UAE?
The ITP and also my office in Dubai, we plan to organize online business matching. Now we are working with the Silver Jewelry Exporter Association, and we will do the online business matching between the buyers here in UAE and the manufacturer in Thailand. I hope that it will happen with the help from the group, We will work together to make this happen. We have in hand about 150 manufacturers of silver jewelry.
Okay.
And we will do this with the virtual business matching
Maybe,
coming August.
maybe it might be interesting to have a display of Thai silver jewelry during the Dubai Shopping Festival next year. You know, something like that. It could be very interesting to give an exposition to the different types of jewelry made there as a show. It might be very interesting. Thank you very much, Mr. Sinha. You've been visiting Thailand for many years, and can you please throw some light on the gem trade of Thailand, the gemstone trade?
Sure. I mean, Mr. Maran will be a better person to answer this question for him being there.
Maybe he can add some points. Yeah, maybe he can add some points. Yeah,
Definitely.
So
When we're done.
the advantage that Thailand has is because of the lapidaries and the cutting abilities and their mining areas. So you can get almost anything cut into shape and size that you need. As we are speaking, in fact, I'm talking to someone in Thailand to source me a certain color of a coin, which is very close to sapphire. It's a very rare color. I have seldom seen it. And this supplier in Thailand is having some roughs, which he said he can cut it out. Yeah. So all such specific pieces, colored stones of different families, shapes and sizes, and the ability to turn them into beautiful, wearable, affordable, or high-end, whichever. Jewelry is a very important element. I mean, just having the raw material is not good enough.
yeah.
The ability to design and produce gold, silver, diamonds, CZs, color stones, precious, semi-precious, every element of the raw material is there in jewelry, most of them. They're very good at doing it. And I think it's a combination of A, the availability, B, their creative skills, and like Mr. Maharan also said, that the ability to understand things and make it happen at a very fast pace, fair pricing, is all a very added advantage for jewelers to work with Thai market. And I don't know if many have encountered, well, I have so very often, that there's so many of the Europeans who live in Thailand and they work, or they're owners of Thai companies or they're partners in Thai companies. So they're bringing in a different element of creativity. It's a great combination. At times I've seen the European design element with a Thai creativity and the affordable pricing, which all in totality works out to be a wonderful product for
It's
jewelry
a win-win
stores.
situation. Win-win, yeah.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
situation, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the best
Mehran,
example of that-
Maha, you want to say something?
Yeah, and I just wanted to comment on this. I think the best example of the silver jewelry that was internationally spread and it was manufactured in Thailand. As far as I know, Pandora is having the biggest silver jewelry factory in there, and they produce thousands of pieces every day. And honestly, their experience is a sample of a very successful idea, especially now after the COVID, where people wants to buy online affordable pieces. So it's a mix between a little bit of gold and mainly it's silver jewelry, and it's all made in Thailand.
Are you doing that combination of silver, gold, and gemstones in your jewelry?
I don't, but I am in the process of producing men's jewelry in silver, because I know in the Middle East it's usually men, they don't wear gold. It's either platinum or silver. So in the process of producing a new line. So I launched recently my online boutique, and we're trying to manage the pieces for the online to be affordable, because as you know, the online shopping is a new experience in the Middle East, especially in the luxury items. So we're trying to manage to be affordable for everyone. So one of the plans is to have the silver jewelry.
Fantastic. Good. We wish you all the best to you. Mehran, can I ask you, if you want to add something to what Anurag has said, that's fantastic. But I want to ask you, because you are in both the places, and many of our participants might want to be doing business there. So could you tell us something about the ease of doing business between these two countries? And also, as we are going to be running short of time very soon. So as a last word, what would you advise our participants regarding the business opportunities, how they can capitalize on that?
I'll be very quick on this point. As a business owner in Thailand and as a business owner in Dubai, so on the Thailand side of things, we have the Board of Investors here, which is a group set up, to basically help out foreigners who want to come into the country to set up businesses. I'll just focus on the jewelry and our industry basically. But I mean, anywhere from diamond cutting, stone cutting, jewelry, silver, gold manufacturing, and all that. A lot of help from the DITP and the BOI here, really made it very easy for us to operate out of Thailand. I mean, us being in Bangkok, there's a lot of people in Chanthaburi, a lot of people in the outskirts of Bangkok. But in business setup for our industry, I understand that we did it a very long time ago. But I personally know a lot of people who have come in and opened up factories here. It's really not that difficult of a process, as long as you have everything in order. And in order of working, between the UAE and Thailand, I mean, it's also a very easy process because the UAE is very acceptable. I mean, they're very open-minded. They accept, items, whatever, and everything from anywhere in the world. So, there's really not that big of an issue, or there's no, issue in opening up between the two countries. It's actually very, very easy to trade.
So actually they could work very well together because both of them, it's very easy and the processes are not complicated at all. It's a very easy government.
If there is any issues, Mr. Panod is there. He's he knows the whole process. He knows everything and how to ease up everything between the two countries. Just to go back to Anurag's question, what you were saying before, about stone cutting here in Thailand. I mean, for as long as I've known, diamonds are cut in Belgium or in India or in Surat, but for color stones, you still can't beat Thailand in terms of, those guys who still cut by hand, their experience is so vast, they have cut so many stones in their life and it's just so easy to do. If you need to match a stone with another stone or, sizes or color or anything like that, it's very easy to do here.
How about the pricing? Is that also very reasonable?
The pricing, again, I'll be the devil's advocate here. We do have Vietnam coming up. We do have China coming up. I mean, if you're particular and you're very, very price focused, then I would say go to the other places. But, in terms of pricing for the quality that you're getting, nothing beats Thailand.
So if you want quality and price, you come here.
The only closest competition would be maybe Turkey.
Turkey for cutting stones?
No, not for cutting stones, for jewelry.
For jewelry, yeah, okay.
But I mean, that would be the closest thing. But still, as an expat living in Thailand, the ease of living, the ease of, going out and about and just the ease of doing business here for a foreigner, it's extremely easy.
Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Mr. Panot, you just said that there is going to be an online exposition or the jewelry fair, virtual jewelry fair. So could you tell us, is there going to be something special on offer or being one of the first fairs after the COVID-19 pandemic? Do you think the exhibitors who are there will be giving some exceptional offers to the customers? What is your opinion?
Because of the COVID, we cannot organize our 66 Bangkok Gems as planned in September. So we would like to do something to make it. Actually, we did the virtual trade exhibition before. We did with, we are
when
going.
Was this? When was that, sir?
We do this one is multimedia.
Okay.
Multimedia in May. And we are going to do the lifestyle products in the coming month. And the next one will be the jewelry. In Bangkok Gems, we have about 700 exhibitors, and we plan to have 150. Every exhibitor out of 700 will have their own room, but most of them will be 2D. But we will have 150 exhibitor that will have 3D room. This is something new. Yeah, we would like
something unique. Yeah. No,
yes.
But do you think the exhibitors will be offering some very special pricing or some good offers on that exhibition?
In terms of the fee, I am not sure that because I don't have information on that yet. This is a very new decision. I just learned about it last week.
So we look forward to hearing more details about that in the press or maybe in our email communication soon. Thank you very much. Mr. Anurag, I think we are running almost short of time. So before we go, would you like to say some words to our participants today, how they can maximize their profits and also their business pleasure in doing business with Thailand?
It's a tricky question.
No, profits so easy, but you see, you said that they are always very easy to learn. They are very cooperative, very friendly people. So how they can maximize on those things?
Innovation is the key to everything. May it be technology, may it be design, may it be jewelry. As long as they're innovating, not just designs, it's a combination of, in the world of today, when it comes to branding and marketing, since they have a lot of creativity on jewelry, I'm sure there's a lot of creative elements from the marketing, branding, merchandising as well in Thailand. If they can marry those features along with the supplies of products, you are automatically helping a retailer consolidate multiple things from one particular source. As a result, it's helping the retailer to invest more time and money into selling the merchandise and strengthening the brand. And the success comes to the supplier and to the retailer and all the wholesaler in between.
I think
only when the product goes out of the doors.
I think you made a fantastic point there that if we can combine everything together because of their creativity, we can take advantage of the packaging, everything. I think fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Ms. Maha, would you like to add something to what we have already spoken regarding the collaboration or the cooperation between the designing part, the designers of Thailand and the other parts of the world, including UAE?
I think it's a struggle everywhere. If you have the great skills for manufacturing, you will have some other missing, good designs in some other places in the world. And I think we designers need kind of like more international organization that gathers us together. Maybe the new jeweler started some kind of forum to combine this and have them on a platform so we can discuss more about what is the trend, what is for the coming year. And so economic wise, what is the market demand? Like, is it big pieces or the focus is on smaller affordable pieces or what? We are working on personal basis to collect, information how to manage the business. But if there is a platform that combines all together, that would be much easier for everyone.
Fantastic. I think this is a very, very good suggestion, Mr. Panot. During the next show, maybe we can have a designers conclave also. All the designers could get together for maybe 3-4 hour sessions and exchange their views. I think it's a fantastic idea given by Ms. Maha. Thank you very much. Yeah. And Mr. Mahalati, would you like to add something to all that we have said, or should we open to, the floor to questions from Mr. Subbu?
Some of the Q&A that some of the people had posted. So there's Ricky. I had already answered his question for him privately.
Thank you so much, Mr. Siroya, and the panelists and participants. We've got some interesting questions through chat box, as well as WhatsApp group and emails. So the first question that I would like to take is for Mr. Anurag Sinha. In the post-COVID era, do you really see demand for jewelry designed in Thailand and sold in UAE?
Post-COVID, pre-COVID, the human beings will still be there, are still there. And whatever the human being needed today will also need post-COVID. Question is, how much the consumers will contain suppress their desires and demands, and when will the desire and the demand will be out of the bottle to take the customer back to the store. Yes, there is a financial stress worldwide, but at the same time, the relationships and the occasions and the events in human beings' life will not change. A birthday will stay a birthday, and the anniversary will stay as anniversary, and the festival will be a festival. 25th December will be Christmas regardless.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so people will shop, some less, some more, some not this year, some next year. But the ones who are out in the market to shop, it just means that they have the ability, financial ability, and they have a desire to spend, which means anybody who is different than the rest, any of your merchandise that differentiates from the rest is what should sell faster. Because something that is available all the time, you might just say that, listen, why I can't postpone that purchase because it's available all the time. It's nothing different. The differentiation is what will help you score some goals when people are more choosy, more careful with the money, but still want to address all the events and occasions in their lives.
Perfect.
So
Absolutely.
may it be Thailand, may it be any country, everybody will have to strive to work and create products that differentiates in whichever manner, whether it's design terms, product sense, composition sense, price sense, whichever may it be. We all will have to work in that direction.
Absolutely, sir. Thanks a lot. Just to add on, with the Italian as well as the Turkish designs coming into the market, will Thai designs have an advantage towards price point?
Well, it all depends. Now, if you're doing fine jewelry, I think Thailand will score definitely over Italy. There's no doubt about it. I'm not sure. I've not done very many comparisons between Thai jewelry and Turkish jewelry. Because Turkey also, as much as we deal with Turkish products, more to do with plain gold.
Can I take this one, Mr. Anurag?
Yes, please.
Sure,
please.
It really falls down. I mean, it falls down to a lot of what's expected out of the market today. You know, a lot of up and coming millennials, you know, they're not as into jewelry as, you know, the older generation are. And when it falls into that, because one of the questions I was just reading in the panel, you know, post-COVID, what are you expecting? The question was, post-COVID, what are you expecting the size of jewelry to be sold in the UAE? In my opinion, to be very honest with you, and I'm pretty sure that you agree also, Anurag and Mr. Chandu, there's always going to be a demand for intricate jewelry, and there was always going to be a demand for smaller pieces of jewelry. Now, the benefit that, you know, this whole forum is about about what Thailand can offer as a manufacturing hub for said jewelry. So if people want the smaller pieces, if people want the cheaper pieces, you know, there's other markets that produce pieces at exceptionally low costs. But until today, I'm going to use one example: invisible setting, invisible diamond setting, invisible color stone settings. There is still, until today, nobody can do it. I mean, it's the year 2020, pre-COVID, post-COVID, or whatever it is. Nobody can do it as well as the Thais can do it, even until today. So no matter how the market goes, you know, Thailand as a manufacturing hub still has its advantages, and it's not down to price. You know, it's about detail and intricacy. You know, if you want something much more expensive, you know, I'm sure you can go to Italy, you can get it made in New York, you can get it made in many different markets. And if you want to go very, very cheap, you know, where they use wax setting and just a very, very fast process, you can go to China. But at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is that you have manufacturers in Thailand who compete with manufacturers in Italy in terms of quality. Just the price in Thailand is much lower. That's
fantastic. I think all of us will agree that there is going to be a demand for every type of jewelry. Yeah.
Mr. Sinha wanted to say something.
I said this is a fantastic comparison and a great comparative done by Mr. Mehran. It really is to the point. Thank you.
Welcome.
There is a question that has come on a WhatsApp group for Mr. Panot. In terms of conducting or doing business with Thailand, will the jewelers from the UAE who want to expand in manufacturing get subsidies and tax reliefs and support from the Thai government? Would you like to take this up, Mr. Panot?
Yes, definitely, Subbuji. As Mr. Mehran mentioned at the beginning of our webinar, we have the BOI who take care of the investment promotion, and we have a lot of incentive. I am sure that the jewelry business is one of the target industry. And I can supply any the details on the support that Thai government can do. And it's not only the government support, as Mr. Mehran and Mr. Anurag mentioned, we have the craftsmanship, and we have a lot of quality workmanship over there to make it happen. And the government is support from the start to the end, I would say that. And it's not only the BOI in terms of investment. If you invest in Thailand, we also help you to do marketing through the ITP. So this is a whole process that we help our foreign investors.
Thank you so much, Mr. Panot. I think there are a few more questions, but I think one final question we can take. Mr. Siroya, is that okay? One final question to Ms. Maha.
Sure. Please.
Yeah. Ms. Maha, this is from a jewelry designer in Thailand. And she wishes to know that what are the programs that we can organize together to bring in the Thai as well as the UAE jewelry designers together in terms of education and information.
That's quite hard to say at the moment, but I guess, as I just said a while back, a platform to gather all of them and make them discuss each market, what does it need, and what we need to do for the next phase is very important. Also education, like I have no idea. I know that in Thailand, it's inherited by families. They work in jewelry design and in jewelry making, but I have no idea if they have jewelry design schools. But from what I see from the productions and the CAD designing, I guess that there is some kind of organization that teaches. In here, it's very recent. It's not very mature. So that combined platform will help both sides to exchange information in terms of the high technology and the design itself and the demand in each market.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ms. Maha, for that. Over to you, Mr. Siroya. And then we have the closing session.
I think we have had some fantastic discussions, and I think we are also running short of time. So I would like to thank everybody for giving this their valuable time and their inputs on how we can increase the business or strengthen the trade between UAE and Thailand and the Middle East totally. So thank you very much, and thank you New Jeweler Magazine for giving us this opportunity to come here and express our views.
Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of the New Jeweler International Media Group, I thank Ms. Maha Al-Sibai, Mr. Panot Punyahotra, Mr. Anurag Sinha, Mr. Mehran Mahalati, and Mr. Chandu Siroya for having a wonderful session here. And the questions keep coming in, so we would advise the participants to send the questions on email, which will be given to you all, and the questions will be forwarded to the respective speakers. Thank you so much for a wonderful and fruitful session. All the best to all of us. Thank you very much. Be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.